Hey everybody, this is Cresso. Hey, in this clip I want to talk about police brutality. I know this is a very hot topic, especially now these days. And a friend of mine was telling me about, she glanced at the news and she was telling me about, somebody got shot in Louisiana and by a police officer, and it was I believe it was video recorded. It was on the I don't know if it was on YouTube. I don't know how many of this stuff is on YouTube, but then there was another situation on Minneapolis. A family witnessed their own, their father got gunned down by a traffic cop. And then a situation I just learned on the internet recently on something going on in Dallas, Texas, and I kind of felt a little, I felt a little in a way that I'm open-minded. That thing is pretty much staged like Orlando, Florida. I don't really taking a lot with these propaganda news outlet that they like to talk about. It's definitely, we have to be mindful about what you watch, okay, especially in the news. Fox News, CBS, ABC, all these networks are owned by these, it's propaganda. It's a way of just trying to justify, to try to control people, guns, and a lot of stuff being staged. And in fact, I just was watching my friend, she was looking things on YouTube, in fact, that there's a lot of stuff that's being staged. Actors and actresses being hired and cops coming in and act like they're coming in to save the day. There's a lot of stuff, crazy stuff going on. It's like a movie within a movie. I'm not kidding. But the police brutality, yeah, this is a situation that's been going on for for decades. Growing up in New York City, it's amazing the stuff that you hear in the newspaper and just what's going on. And the thing with that is the police in New York, it's very hard. People want to get justice and put these police behind bars, but I've seen myself that it's very hard to do that. If you do see a cop being put behind prison, it's just using that police officer as a scapegoat, but it's not really changing anything. That's the thing. A lot of people really not. It took me a while to understand it, but people really not getting the picture. You put one cop behind bars, it's not really changing anything. You have civil rights leaders talking about and protesting and all that. That's not doing anything. Okay. And you're talking to politicians to make change, but it's not really doing anything. They'll carve up certain laws, but they'll create other laws. You understand? And these laws that's being placed is not any for our benefit. It's to basically control you. And that's what papal law, man's law, is about. And I'm going to talk about this in another clip about natural law. But in this clip, I want to talk about police brutality, and that a lot of us are tired of this stuff. We're really tired. A lot of us don't feel like, oh well, it's just maybe a few cops. And some of us will say, well, not every cop's like that. No, not every cop does act in a certain way. But when you hold on to this idea of police, or someone have authority over you, or you try to suppress people, you're going to have more of the same. And it's the thing, I know a lot of us, we're trying to figure out, what are we supposed to do with the police? And, I thought about this. I mean, I was just walking by early, and there was this woman, she was dressed white and black, and she was holding a sign saying, "End Police Terror." She was just by herself, but she was standing right in the middle around everybody. She wasn't afraid. She was just having a sign. I walked by her and I just nodded my head at her. I'm like, wow, And a lot of people, I know a lot of you are tired of this. You don't know how to go about it. You protest. You talk to your politicians, and nothing's being done about it. Now, I was having a conversation with my friend. I was telling her about which is the best way to go about this, and when you have peace talks and certain things not change, we have to do things differently. You understand? we have to go about this differently. I mentioned this in my changes now, and I thought about the clip that I made recently, and I wanted to talk about a little bit. I want to bring more detail as possible, and maybe it's a slight different strategy as far as what are we supposed to deal or do with these cops. And I was just telling my friend that the police, when people act, when you go about rioting, they're trained. The police officers are trained how to disperse a crowd. Do you understand? They're trained. You know that, everybody. And when you go about rioting, you're not really doing any change. You're doing what they expect you to do. Because the police and the government, the police are like the watchdogs, the government's dogs, just calling it as it is. And the government think you and I and everyone else are animals. Okay? So the rioting thing, you're doing exactly what they're expecting you to do. And it doesn't do any change. So I was talking to my friend of mine about it. I said, you know what? Police, they operate on a daily basis, going about things very tactical. Especially if there's a riot going to happen. And I was telling her that, you know what? I think a lot of people, all of us, it's very important for us to band together as leaders and as every living free will being. And what I mean, let me emphasize this, okay? Meaning, we all want to live a peaceful world. You want to live a peaceful life, right? You don't want to live in a war zone, right? I know you don't want to live in a war zone. And I was just thinking about for all of us to band together, every community, and yeah, we want to go about things. I would believe that going about things very tactical, and our way of doing things psychologically to these police. And what I mean is you see, all the paradigm, military and police, they always have a center point where they all start, and then they disperse into groups. I feel like a lot of us, we need to surround these police stations, okay? We need to show them psychologically that you're not going to suppress us, okay? And do in a way that these police officers it's going to get to a point that they're going to quit their job. I want to inspire everyone. I want to invite the firefighters and the EMT workers and everyone else to surround these police stations, okay, and really affirming and letting them know out loud your service is no longer needed. We have to go about it in a tactical way and on a psychological and a spiritual way to end this, because I'm going to say this to you, everybody. If you're going to continuously pet this paradigm of police, you're going to have more of the same. You're going to have more police brutality. It doesn't matter what civil rights leader you have to represent you. It doesn't matter who's in office. You're going to have more of the same. You will not have any peace. Okay, and I know a lot of us, we want peace. We just figure out how to go about it. But you got to go about this very tactical. You got to go about this smart and fearless. You got to let them know your service is no longer needed. Once you surround the police stations, okay, because they got families to go home too. They're really no different than me and you. We go to work, we're going to go home. We want to go home, right? But when they see the masses surrounding their police stations, and if I was a police officer, I would want to quit my job. I'd say, you know what? This pension thing ain't worth it. Okay? Another strategy is you want to defund the police. You want to go after the fundings, because that's the reason why they join. To work, to make money, and that nice little pension. Okay? So the defund the police. But the defund the police, you have to go at the source of it, which is the government. Closing down the government obviously affects everything else, especially mostly the police, for example. Okay? Now, when people surround the police stations, then the military will come in. The National Guard will come in. Okay? Same thing what we do at the police station. Surround the military bases. Okay? And the military personnel, they have families too. And they're going to realize that this stuff ain't worth it. Okay? This is what I believe. We got to go at it. This is another slight different angle. What I was saying in my other clip changes now. You have to affirm, okay? You got to let them know your service no longer needed. It's like, for example, you have a garden, right? And you're growing your crops and all that, or you have flowers, plants, whatever, right? But then you got this weed coming in, choking up your crops. Are you going to talk to the weed and say, hey, look, can you not choke up the crops, please? I really, can you just kind of ease back a little bit? No, because the weed is going to continuously grow, and it's going to choke. It's going to choke the crops. So you got to go at the root of the weed. You got to go at the root and chop it down. And when I mean chop it down with the police, you got to go at them psychologically and spiritually. You got to show them that your service is no longer required. Because I'm going to say this to you, everybody. As much as you're fed up, especially the black community or any other ethnic group, that you're tired of the same stuff, you got to go things differently. And no offense to the civil rights leaders, all the protests and all the stuff that's chit-chatting with politicians ain't doing nothing. We're doing great. We're video recording stuff on YouTube. We're showing everybody else what it is, what these police do. Now, yes, you have one cop does things so polishy nice, but then you have to understand what it's designed. It's designed to suppress you. So when you suppress, what do you get? You get chaos. The movie The Purge that came out, what does that tell you? Hollywood's telling you, everybody, and me included, that you're animals. That's exactly what it is. It's telling that you're animals. And we know, you know who you are, everybody. We're not animals. We're consciousness. We're much more than that. So, you got to open your eyes, everybody. Wake up. Okay? Again, look at the movie The Purge. It's telling you point blank in your face, everybody, you're animals, and the politicians, they're the solution. They create the chaos, and they're the solution. Do you want to live in chaos? Do you want to live in war, everybody? Or do you want to live a blissful life? Do you? This is a straightforward question. Be mindful of watching these media channels. It's propaganda, and that's what it's all about. It takes all of us self-leaders. All of us. I am not your leader. It's all of us. And if we want to wear that anonymous mask all together and surround these police stations and the military, yeah, it's a great start. So I just want to leave off with that. And, I want to inspire you, everybody, because I always focus on the end game. I don't just sit there and talk about problems. There's always a way. You just got to know who you are, everybody. Okay, everybody. Until then, I will be back with another interesting topic. Take care.